And here we can create a material. So right click and go to material and then M underscore landscape. So if you double click on this, you will see that you have this window here. Now, landscapes work a little bit different. So I will show you basically how this works. I can right mouse click and move around, and I can just right click and create some nodes. You can also have your palette where you can see the hotkeys here. Like for example, Panner with P, you can just drag and drop, or you can press P and while holding it, press the left mouse click and you will have it. Okay. Same with texture coordinate, something we will use very often. So for now, I will just show you how to put a color. I will press 3 and click, and it will give me a constant 3 vector. You can also type here like constant, and you have the constant 1 vector, constant 2 vector, 3 and 4. So for example, I want to have a green landscape, something like this. I can just go here. By default, my landscape won't have anything because I haven't applied the material. So I can just go to landscape here. And inside my landscape, you have the material. I will just create a material instance for now. Create a material instance, just like this. And I will call it MI landscape. Material instance is something that, just like you saw with the water, I can just change the properties there. So I will put this thing here. And it should change. Yeah, it's the Hulk Island. Pretty ugly, but I can go back to my landscape and right click and convert to parameter, and this will be my color, for example. And I can just leave it like that. So what I can do, Control space to open my content drawer, and then click on this. I can change the color. So if I move this around so you can see, I can just click here and I can just press one of this, and you will have a little bit of a nicer color for your landscape. Now the thing with landscapes is that you don't want to go for the traditional route like this where you can just add some color on it. You can. A lot of people think you can only paint. You can add some things. You can add textures into this. For example, I can just go to my Megascans, go to surface, and I will show you how I add those in a minute. I can just go here and drag this. And I can just put this thing here. And you will see that I have my texture here and it works. So you can overlay this kind of textures on top of everything you have painted so you can have more variation. Okay, so let's delete this. And what we're gonna do is to add some textures first. So you can go add and go to Quixel content. And here you will have a huge library of different assets that you can use. Oh, wow, this one looks really nice. Let's go here. Oh, that's very nice. You may want to do another tutorial on using these ones. It will be very, very cool. But anyway, let's go back to home. If you see here, you have a lot of assets, not only materials, but also you have assets and 3D plans. And you can just go to surface and you can type here like sand, for example. And you can just try to look for something you want. For example, this one or this one or this one. For example, I can just download this. You can check the quality here. Medium quality should be good enough for textures. So you can just download. You also have this rocky sand. You can try. And once it finished downloading, you will see like a green check here. So you can just click plus. And there you go. Now you have your material here, which is great. Let's add another one. Click add. And there you go. Now you have your materials. I did the same for a bunch of those. If you want to see which ones I added, I can go to local. Here you will see my whole library. I added this rocky ground, dirt ground, and this one, and maybe some rock cliff, I believe. Yeah, I added the rock cliff. So let's start with that. If you want to add a layer, let's check which one you want to add. Rocky ground, that could be. Layer rock. Let's check. Not very interesting. Dirt ground. Okay, let's go for. Okay, let's go for this one. I can just grab all of this and put it into my landscape. And the first thing you need to do when you drag textures, especially with landscapes, because you will have a lot of them, you can go here and go to shared wrap. And what this will allow you is to have more textures in your material. If you go here, you will have texture samplers from 4 to 16. You can put much more than that if you use the warp node. So how can you use this? Well, the first thing is you need to paint this texture. So we're gonna go and put a landscape layer blend. By default, it's not gonna have anything. If I click plus, you will see I have a layer name. I can put layer 1. A pro tip for you, you don't want to rename this as, for example, rock or grass or anything, because in the future you may change what the layer texture is. And if you want to make a master material where you can have snow material and sand and different biomes, then the layer name won't make any sense where it says rock, but it paints snow, right? So that's why it's very simple to keep it with numbers, like layer 1. It will be layer 1 always. So you can just go here and put it on the base color. And if you apply it, your landscape will turn black. I see a lot of comments, especially from my island tutorial video, where a lot of people is like, hey, my landscape turned black. I don't know what to do. Just go to the landscape. And if you go to paint, you will see that you have target layers here. And it should show because we just create the material here. So if it doesn't show, the fix is very simple. You can just create a new level and then open this. Okay, so now when you go to landscape, you will see that you have your layer 1. I can go click this arrow icon and I can just click weight blended and I can just click save. It will just save in the default folder where your map is. Inside there will be a folder with the layer info. If you click on this, you will see these are some of the properties you can change for each layer if you want to go deeper. But for now, you will see that it looks like a solid color, but here I can actually see this thing here, just like that. Okay, so what's the next thing you need to do? You can press U to create a texture coordinate, or you can go tab and press texture coordinate. And you can press M to multiply or multiply like this. And you can just multiply this and put a constant. Constants are very common, so you can press 1, 2, 3, even 4 to have different constant values. In this case, we want to multiply this UV tiling by 1 for now. I can convert this to a parameter and say landscape UVs, or just UV tiling, global UV tiling. There you go. So if I connect this here, apply, nothing will change because I haven't changed my UV tiling, but I can go for something much smaller. If I go 5, you will see that it's become small and small. So I need to go the other way around. I can go for 0.1, and maybe that's too big or too small. We will see. Shift 1 to go out of the game mode. And let's see. This looks like a decent size to me. It looks decent. I feel it's okay. Now you see that we don't have any properties, just the color. And it's quite non-realistic. And the reason is we're not using the other textures. Now I can just copy and paste this and put this thing here and go to the normal and hit apply. Or let's just hit apply here. And now you will see that you have your mod much better, right? So this will turn out very ugly. It will become a spaghetti if we continue to do this for all the textures that are in our environment. So my personal way of doing this is to create a material from this. So I will right click and type make material attributes, and I will go here to the base color. This is the normal map, which will give me the aligning information detail. And just go here, and here I can just connect this texture coordinate here. The red one will go to ambient occlusion, the green one will go to roughness, and I can just put this thing here. Now this one will be my height, but I won't use it for now. So what I can do, once I apply, you will see that now I have this. And now I have my material here, but my material is not, it's only connecting the base color. And what I want to do, I can either break material attributes and I can connect those just like this. Or I can do something much more simple where I can just click here on any part of the graph. I can use material attributes. And now instead of connecting all of those, I will use a material attributes that come by default here. So when I hit apply, it's still the same. So great, now that we have our first texture, we can add more. It will be very easy. Let's go here and press C and comment layer 1 ground. Let's go for another texture. Let's go for this. We can go for the sandy gravel. So let's grab this and then go for shared wrap. You could put this as a parameter if you want it. Actually, I will do convert to parameter. This will be my layer 1 albedo. This will be my layer 2 layer 1 normal. And this will be my layer 1 mask. The same thing can be here. Convert to parameter layer 2 albedo, layer 2 normal, right click, layer 2 mask. Let's Control C, Control V, and actually we're gonna do something different. We're gonna go here and put a name, and I can put a add name rewrote declaration node. I can just click on this, and then I can just put my global UV tiling. And now what I can do is to type global UV tiling, and I can connect those like this. So instead of this being here, I can have something like this. And now this is like a wireless node where I can just connect this, and this will be the same as connecting from here, which will make my graph more organized. So I can just make material attributes and connect those here. And now I can just add a new layer called layer 2. And I can go here and connect those. Okay. Now I can go to landscape. And I can just add a new layer here. If I don't see it, quick fix, new level, empty level, open recent levels. And now when you go to landscape, you will see the layer 2. Create. And now what we can do, now what I recommend is to paint on layers where it's a base one. Because if you have different layers where you have your painting, it will become a mess. When you paint on other layers and then you want to fix something, you want to paint on top of another layer and it won't work. So I always recommend to paint on the base layer. If you really want to have like another layer, you can do this, but just keep in mind, it can get really confusing. So if I want to paint here, I can just paint in this area. I can just paint something like this. Paint the same here. I can do the same for these ones. With shift click, you can erase. Oh, there you go. Now we have a little shoreline for us, which is good. That's nice. The size looks good to me. Okay, so what else you can do? Well, you can keep adding layers, but I want to fix the blending here. And we're gonna do that by using the height map. If you go here to the mask, you will see that you have a height map here. And this will serve as the layer information for, for your blending modes. So what you can do is instead of putting the weight blend here, you can go to height blend. And in the height blend, you can put the one before if you want, which will take this as, it will take it like it's a mask where the black parts won't have any layer and the white parts will have. So what I can do is to go here and put a cheap contrast. And here I can press 1 right click, convert to parameter, and put height contrast. And I can just put 1 for now. And this will be, I will put a name rewrote again. This will be my layer 1 height. So I can put my layer 1 height here. You can also put a layer 2 if you want. But just for the sake of trying things out, we can just put it here. And now with the height blend, you will see that something's happening here. Right? Like it's not entirely smooth anymore, which is great. So let's go for our material instance. Let's go for the material instance, and then we can just change the height contrast. For example, I can put 2, I can put 10, I can put 50. If I put 0, you won't have any contrast. If I put -50, you will have the contrast, but in reverse, right? Put 50. Even if I put too high values, it won't work. So I can just play with 5. Looks like a decent number. That's great. So now you can paint even better, because when I go here, I can go to my layer info. I can decrease the size of this. I can just paint a little bit here. And you will see that you're actually painting with the height information, which is nice.